Okay, so I took this Big Five personality test earlier because Jordan Peterson was talking. Fucking better be Jordan Peterson, by the way. Yeah. Because Jordan Peterson mentioned it, has mentioned it when you see videos of his like lectures and blah blah blah. He mentions about like the Big Five, and all that matters is that the test said that those Big Five things were. Of course, I need the reference because why would I remember those? Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So I took some pretty quick tests actually. It was 30 questions and you rate them, describes me, doesn't describe me, very much describes me on, there's a scale of 5 and this is neutral and this is much and this is not so much. You get the point. The results were that I am very open. My score for openness was high at 80%, which I guess I'm not surprised at. I mean, none of it surprised me actually, which was cool. It was, I mean, for somebody who questions who I am so much, it was nice to finally have a nice, discrete left brain, like numbers on it, scale, etc. Numbers and a representation of who I am or what I'm like. So, I mean, highly open, which for me is self-evident. I can't even elaborate on it. Uh, no, nothing to say. That's a lucky. I'm just largely summarize them first, then try and elaborate. So the scores of which I was high was openness and agreeableness. I knew the agreeableness one already. I was low in conscientiousness and neuroticism, and I'm like moderately extroverted, which I mean, thank fuck for the medium, because I've always tried to make things black and white. Like people say, you're either extrovert or introvert, and I'm always like, I'm sometimes I'm extroverted, but sometimes I'm introverted. Like for people I don't know, I'm not prone to go and approach them. And but when I'm in a social situation, I see I'm extroverted because I'm just at ease. I don't know. I'm relatively because I'm open. Because I'm open. I don't mind talking about whatever ish. Um, most of whatever. Point is, been trying to find yourself this or that, but no, you could be in between, bro. You're in between in the extroverted thing. 63% extroverted, moderately extroverted, man. The order in which they present the results was conscientiousness, and I'm compelled to follow the order for fuck knows why. So I'm not very conscientious, and I don't even. And the problem with when I watch these videos and stuff, and they say conscientious, what does that even mean? Like I never knew. I still don't read it. I'm about to read it. It describes a person's ability to exercise self-discipline and control in order to pursue their goals. I am so not that. Well, I know we know this. I knew this. I'm not particularly. I don't plan or I'm not careful about these things. People who are low in conscientiousness are usually impulsive, disorganized, spontaneous, and carefree. Bada bing, bada boom. That's me. Although, wait, to go back to the openness, people who are high in openness are typically creative, imaginative, adventurous, intellectual, unconventional, and artistically inclined. And I'm more or less most of those minus artistically inclined and creative. Maybe that's why I'm doing these videos, man, because I want to explore. I might go turn the light on. I mean, let me check out. Yo, yeah, I'm definitely going to go turn the light on. Where the fuck was it? Oh yeah, the creative expression. I mean, I like to think, I know I can be creative. I know that in terms of with words and stuff, I'm relatively unconventional. And then, I can think of different ideas and whatnot. And I watched a video of Jordan Peterson again. I mean, he's going to keep coming up because he's all I've watched today in terms of video and in the past 2-3 hours. What is creativity really? He said it was ideas that are novel, novel, and useful. May not use the word useful. Point is, it's got to be new and useful. Like if it's new but not useful, like so what? And if it's useful but not new, it's already done. So whatever. That's creativity, and I like to think I am. And I know I'd like a creative expression. I'd like a creative. What do they call it? Just a means to express your creativity. This obviously isn't particularly creative. This vlogging thing. I'm just trying to get myself out there. To me, to Lou. Every time I say it, man. Um, one of the main things I've taken from it is I definitely have a head lean. Fucking what? That doesn't work. Where the fuck is my head? Point? I don't know if you can see it, but like this laptop's most likely flat, and just the way I'm looking at it is remembering the reflective left. I lean left, man. Because my eyes, I'd noticed this whilst taking an identity photo for my passport photo thing in the booth. And you're sitting on the stool and you take a picture, and I was like, my eyes aren't level. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And I kept doing this to make them level, and I could feel that I'd have to tilt my head to make them level. I mean, the simple fact that they're probably not level, but I thought maybe my brain would correct for that as opposed to my head would correct for that. But the creative thing, I mean, I'd like to be, I consider myself able to be creative. I just don't really have any avenues for it. I don't play an instrument or dance or, what was the other one? Music, dance, whatever the other, drawing. I don't do any of those. So, never consider myself particularly creative, but I think I have the power to be. I know I have the power to be. I'm different, man. I'm different. I take great pride in being different. I do. Find it almost necessary, and I'm not sure why. Is it because I consider the norm to be worse, like just bad? Most people, the norm, as it were, like the pop music listening, classic, small talk only-ing person. I mean, like as I said, I'm worried that they will get to hear this and that they'll be offended. But I mean, the very fact that you're listening to this, whoever you are, probably means that you're not one of them. Which we've all heard before in these videos. Like, oh, the fact that you're watching this video means that you're not one of them. And so yeah, I've always not wanted to be the norm. Well, I don't know when I acquired it, but whenever it was, I mean, I've just got to go with it. Ooh, let's see if I can. Ooh, there's a thing I've been not wrestling with. This thing that keeps coming up in my mind. I need to learn a way to introduce this thought. What I mean is that when I want to switch topic and start talking about this thing, whatever this idea or whatever it is going to be, is that all that matters is that I've thought about it a few times before, or just, briefly, usually not very in depth at all. You'll find that when I elaborate here. What it means is I need to find a way to segue into, here's a thing I've thought before, but only briefly, and it's not that I've, really thought about this and now I'm going to present it to you. It's just that, oh, by the way, here's something that's occurred to me before. Occurred to me is a good way to put it. Is like who you are. Who am I? Is it based on who you want to be, or like at what point is it your base? And at what point is it the environment, or just, see, I don't know how to elaborate on it because I haven't developed it at all. Like who I am, like not wanting to be the norm. Was that just ingrained to me from birth? Is that just who I was always going to be? And I've just, like, at what point can this is it. Can I change it? Or do I just have to go with it? Like, at what point is a particular trait of mine, like this not wanting to be normal? If I suddenly decide I want to be normal, can I just go with that? Or is that it? It's too late now. You've gone with this whole not being normal thing. Now you got to go with it. Because I like to think you can change yourself, right? You can just control who you want to be. Be who you want to be, and therefore you can control who you are. And eventually turn into what you want to be? Or what point was it your idea, basically? And like, what point was it your idea? Did you think that you wanted to be different, or was that just you're always going to be like that? So, to what extent is it an expression of me that I don't want to be normal? Maybe the answer is just to let go and follow whatever it was that you think. Just go with it, and go with it because that's who you are. Or is it, what if it's something that you don't want to be? What if that's a part of you who you don't want to be? At what point is it just too ingrained to change, or at what point can you change it? Back to the fucking personality test. I mean, the most evident one to me was agreeableness. I know that I personally think I'm overly agreeable. I'm 95% agreeable. I just don't want to hurt. I just don't want to disrupt things or hurt anyone, or at all costs almost. It's very on me to do those things, to disrupt or hurt. I mean, agreeableness at least is self-describing. When you hear the word agreeable, you kind of get what it means. I mean, this it describes a person's tendency to put others' needs ahead of their own and to cooperate rather than compete with others. That's definitely me. I've just, the question is why? Why? Is it because I just was born that way, or this one's probably more nurture. I grew up in a home with a fair bit of arguing between the parents, so perhaps that's been inflicted on me, and I just don't want any more of that. As an aside, no, I can't be asked against. Nah. Last is neuroticism, which I was low. See, what the fuck is neuroticism, man? It sounds like being in your own head, right? Well, to me, that's what I thought. Like neuro, like in your brain. I just thought, I don't know. It's not self-evident as a term, as a word. So when I hear it in these videos and I don't bother looking it up, or just forget, at the time I'm like, oh, I want to look it up, but then I'm like, oh no, I want to follow the idea. So I follow the idea, and by the end of the video I forget to check. So neuroticism describes a person's tendency to experience negative emotions, including fear, sadness, anxiety, guilt, and shame. While everyone experiences these emotions from time to time, people low in neuroticism seem especially resistant to them. I'm not sure if I'm actually resistant to them, or if I'm innately resistant to them, or intentionally resistant to them. Just like as soon as I feel myself being scared or sad, or less so anxious, but scared and sad, I'm more like, oh no, what are you doing? What the fuck is that? Change that. What are you doing? Anxious, and guilt I feel a lot. Shame, only sometimes. Not often really. Anxiety, I tend to overthink. I tend to think of things and find things to be anxious about. Just like think of all the things that go wrong as opposed to things that can go right. And yet I can't say what I do. I don't know what I do. That's a large part of the problem, and that's another part of the reason for these videos. Is the idea is to just self-demonstrate so that I can have this recorded part of me that I actually studied, as it were, because I'll have watched this a few times whilst editing it in theory, and so I'll hear what I say over and over again, and that will help it be more integral and help me understand it and help it be part of me in theory. Just sort of repeating things just to solidify them. That's the word, solidify them. Problem is it chicken and egg, right? What if I say in these videos like, I don't know, I'm great. Will I eventually believe it just as a force of hearing it and hearing me say it about me? Do I then embody it or not? Man, I'm not particularly impressed with the quality of my verbal expression. I was much happier with the way it came out yesterday. Much happier. And even at lunchtime today. That was fun. This seems to just have come from not inside. Maybe not a present place. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why we like drugs. Oh, one of those traits was people will be highly addictive. Um, is it? It's not extroverted. Damn it. Which one? Oh, low in conscientiousness. Those impulsive, disorganized ones are more likely to develop addictions of all kinds as they have trouble resisting the impulse to engage in pleasurable activities. I mean, that's me, man. I struggle to resist the urge. If I know something should be good, it will be good. Like, I'm not gonna say no because we go do it because that's who I am. This personality test has already been a good thing, man. I mean, I've output a whole bunch of content just now. I'm not sure how good a video it's gonna make. A big part of me wants to put it out there regardless. Just sort of. God, none of me looks at the camera here. Just upload these because who the fuck's gonna see them? Seriously, other than those who I want to see them. I mean, and if you see it and you don't know me already, feel free to comment what I seem like down below. So please tell me your impression of me. I'll either believe it or not, or will I? Or will I then assume that it's true? If somebody tells me I'm actually a nasty person who does bad things, who doesn't care for others at all, to what extent do I just disregard it? Or to what extent do I think, oh shit, what if they're right? And then it becomes part of me. I definitely care a lot about what others say about me. Like it would be a lie to say I don't care about what others think about me because it would destroy me if people told me that they hate me. But I always like to give a caveat to that one and say that if you're a complete stranger and you hate me, so what? I guess that's kind of like the hater thing on the comments on the YouTube. What is it? So like, I don't mind doing weird. In theory, I don't mind doing weird stuff in society, like in a park. Would I? I probably wouldn't get naked, but I don't know, do something really weird on the floor or just get really weird. And even the people might be like, oh, what the fuck is he doing? Blah, blah, blah. I don't care because you're just one of a number. You're just other people. But then if somebody I'm talking to in a party, whatever, like a one-on-one social interaction might say, like, I find you repulsive as a person, not physically. I don't. Well, that would also hurt. That would also hurt, actually, because throughout my life, I've received nothing but positive feedback. And I guess that's the tendency of people to not go ahead and give you negative feedback because why would you? It's just not a nice thing to do. And so I developed, a positive reflection of myself. People like me, and I like that they like me. But I want to be more than that. I want to be more than that. I don't care. I do care about being liked, but it's got to be more than that, man. It's got to be. I want to provide value to them. Liking me doesn't really serve much of a purpose. If they interact with me and I was a nice person, okay, I'm one less dickhead in their day, which is already a good thing. I'm already happy with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy with that progress. I'm happy with that impact on somebody, but it's not much of an impact. I'd rather teach them something new, change their perspective. So something I like to think that I'd like to do. No, I do. Change somebody's perspective in any way. Like, okay, here's one that I changed somebody's perspective quite. Here's a cool thing that have you ever thought of this, right? For whoever's watching this, right? So pedophiles. Yeah, that's right. People who like little kids, man. All those child porn people, blah, blah, blah. Do you think they actually want to be attracted to kids? Like, don't you think that they would rather be attracted to people of their age or just a major, what do you call it, major, adult age? When you're in French, it's majeur, right? So like when you're over 18 or when you're an adult. And you think they prefer that? Like, isn't there an element of no choice in this? So this is the comparison that helps break the perspective is, what if it's like gay people? We say that gay people don't have a choice to like their gender. What if pedophiles don't have a choice but to be sexually attracted to these children? Do they deserve as much hate as they get? I still don't support, of course, but as in, I still don't condone the whole child pornography thing, because then you're supporting that industry. This is the equivalent of vegetarianism, right? You can, oh, well, no, that was all bullshit. It's hard not to act on it, but the point is that wouldn't it suck if you're attracted to kids? Why would you want that? Why would any of them want that? Maybe there should be a little more compassion from the rest of us to pedophiles, and shouldn't just be killed, as some people believe. They go, oh, fucking who the fuck would like kids? What the fuck? Oh, just have to be fucking killed. What the fuck? That's disgusting. It is disgusting to the rest of us. But what if they don't have a choice? What if it's just the same as being gay? As much as being gay is a choice, what if being paedophile is not a choice? Hopefully I gave you something to think about. The video is way too long, man. This is not designed for people to go and watch. This is designed for me to watch. And for some reason, I'm putting them out there on the internet. Is part of me considering, a successful Louis down the line, where people will actually be interested in going to see the first video that came out? Because if so, here it is, and you just got this brain dump. Fucking, welcome to who I am. Like it or not, I'm not supposed to care, because I don't think I should care. But of course I do care. Shame only sometimes.